It's Sponsor a child from the Dogon villages today. They are the future healers, leaders and preservers of Kemetic traditions. Just like Prophet Nagnaba, these children of the Earth Center and our network of healers are being educated in local schools in addition to their indigenous cultural practices and traditions. This comprehensive education both positions them to inherit the work of their forefathers and mothers and continues bridging the gap between traditional and modern societies. So go ahead, support, find out more about our campaigns and donate by going to www.theearthcenter.org. Thank you.
Ujai. Thank you for having me. Okay. All right. So, first of all, good evening, everyone, and thank Blessed Radio for this opportunity to speak with your listeners. And I also like to give thanks to the divinities and the ancestors for this opportunity to speak to you all, and also to the mackerel for bringing back this powerful information to the people of the diaspora. Okay, so my name is Kenemen Fahkara. I'm a first generation initiate of the London Earth Centre School. I've been with the Earth Centre for probably about how many years now? So time flies, about 5 years. That's 2014, so it's longer than that, 6 years. Yeah. So that's me in a nutshell. Uh, so to look into the question of emotion, I think first of all, it's important to get an idea and to understand what it means to be human, really. One of the things that we're taught at the EC is one fundamental thing that we're taught is that we carry corruption, that everyone carries corruption. And that's a reality that you're forced to realize. And it's important to know that you carry that corruption and that everyone carries that corruption. Because really you can say that there's two fields. There's the world of the divine, which is pure, uncorrupt, and uncorruptible. And then there's the material world where we exist as humans, and we carry corruption. And it's important for anyone, in order to move forward, to accept that fact. And you can see that we carry corruption because we're impure. In our bodies, we sweat, we caca, we smell. If we don't brush our teeth after a day, our breath will stink. So we're dirty physically, but we're also dirty internally as well, because we have negative thoughts as well. So it's important to understand where you're coming from in order that you can get to where you need to go to. So the battle of a human being then, given the fact that we are naturally corrupt and we carry that corruption, is to contain that evil, which is why initiation is so important, because it puts you on a path of purification, physically and mentally. But it's no easy task. And it's important to really acknowledge that. One of the things that I say, and I often say to myself, but I'll say it out loud now, is that it doesn't matter. Evil is hard to contain, or it's hard to contain your emotions. And it doesn't matter whether you're high priest, low priest, or middle priest. It's always difficult. And it's important to realize and recognize one simple fact in that regard is that we're here to deal with that. We're here to deal with those emotions. We're here to cope. We're here to transcend. Because emotions, one of the things I think probably sort of may have already been said, but another thing, very important thing that we say is that emotions don't think. And you can tell that it doesn't think, that we don't think when we're emotional. Because when do you do the most silly things? When do you do the stupid things that you look back and say, man, I wish I didn't do that. And I can't believe I did that. Yeah, when your heart is racing, you know, your head's spinning, you're sweating, you're hot. When you're being irrational, when you're not reasoning, which is one of the reasons why people say when you're frantic like that is calm down, take a deep breath, because it slows the heart rate down and it helps you to just think. Because emotions get in the way of thinking. And it's important to understand that emotion is evil's favorite territory. Evil rides on your emotions. It loves your emotions. And the system knows that. And it uses that to exploit people. The political system and the religious system have been using that for years, which is why one of the things that we have now, we like to think that we're evolved, but actually we're far from evolved. Because one of the things that the system stroke religion, because they go hand in hand, and they've always gone hand in hand for years. One of the things is that they'll use your emotions and tell you to have faith and belief. Just believe. Just have faith. But that's emotion. That's telling you really not to think. Don't think about these things. Don't analyze it. Don't question anything. Just have faith and belief. So imagine you're encouraged to go through life not thinking. That's how manipulative it is. But yeah, just shut you down. But the thing is, you're a willing participant. You're being shut down, and you're quite happy to accept it, and you'll clap your hands and say, oh yeah, please. Just have faith and belief. And so you can see how far the human being has degenerated, really. Because now we're just non-thinking, emotional, irrational beings. But the people of Kemet that built the pyramids and the temples and more than that, they built the greatest civilization, not just because of the structures that they created, but because of the way that they dealt with family, with community, you know? Mm. Mm. it's contradictory, really, because in school you're encouraged to investigate, aren't you? In school they will say, yeah, do your research. Well, yeah, well that's yeah, well this is it. Yeah, do your research, but also, and that's what. Yeah, I mean, they their curriculum is carefully structured. Yeah, I mean, to make sure that you only see what they want you to see. Yeah, yeah. So, but yeah, it is still that contradiction of, you're there's a recognition that doing research behind things is really important, but yet when it comes to religion, you're just told to have faith and belief, and that's just ridiculous. But people can't see it's ridiculous necessarily because they're so emotionally attached to whatever religion, and it's also they've got people, they've got such a stranglehold on people that it's almost offensive to say, you know, think about it logically, or use your logic, use your head, think, research, and it's like, how can you say that? How do you, how do you know? Mm, 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 yeah. Hmm. Mm, 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 mm. Yeah, that's censorship. Yeah, pure and simple. Yeah, exactly. Hmm. Hmm. Yeah. as long, sorry, I don't mean to cut you. Yeah, but as long as they've got the excuse for it, then they can get you on an emotional level. Because emotions work in all sorts of ways. So emotions work with fear as well. But emotions work with, I mean, I've seen certain ads, and, you know, if you don't comply to wearing a face mask, or you don't comply to being vaccinated, you're harming other people, you know, etc., and all that. That type of emotional propaganda and manipulation is used. So there's always something at the other side. The way you play it is you play both sides. You have to have a good reason, or not necessarily a legitimate reason, but present a reason for your actions. And as long as you present it a reason, and it's all based on emotion. It's all based on using people's, because we've been conditioned to be emotional and approach life through emotion, because everything is about emotion, isn't it? Family, politics, you know, the football team you support, the country you're in, you know, the religion that you're about. That's why there's religious wars. There's like on a football pitch, you know. Have you seen the way people ran on a football pitch? You know, to support their team, the football team, and they're serious. They're not, you know, and it's, well, and it's all emotion, and it's party political. You know, that's how they operate. So it's all based on emotion, and they know how to play the game. But yeah, it's a very interesting point that you make. In that, you know, I mean, when you mentioned that, I was always thinking of the other side. I was always thinking, okay, so what excuse did they use for why they stopped you from posting a particular video or whatever on YouTube or Facebook? Because they always have a reason for it. So they present the reason, and so they can get away with it. And then because we're so emotionally conditioned, most people just accept that. And it's also like, you have to understand, because the systems become the mother, the parent, and there's this faith and belief in the system that's going, this underlying faith and belief in the system that they know what they're doing. They're looking out for us. You know, you know, so we don't have to think. Just let them. And if they're saying don't do that, then don't do that. Yeah, of course, it's all emotional. Yeah. Mm. 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 No. Mm. Yeah. I mean, it's barbaric. I had to opt out of organ donation. But imagine this, that you have to out of that. So if you're someone that is very vulnerable in the community, maybe you have some sort of disability, some sort of mental illness or something. I mean, I know there's supposed to be, and there are often support workers, but not in every case. There's a lot of vulnerable people that don't have that. So and even if they do, they might not. That information might not have been filtered down to those support workers. So those vulnerable people are now have to donate their organs because they didn't opt out in time. I mean, this is a system of barbarity. That's it. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Comfortable. Yeah. Mm-hmm. 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 Yeah. Mm. But the thing is, the people. Sorry. Again, the people become so attached to their parent, their surrogate parent, that they will even fight for their surrogate parent. So if you get someone with an outside perspective, you're either crazy or what is it that they use now, that term that they like to use for people with alternative information. I forget now. But yeah, conspiracy theorist. Yeah, it's just some crazy conspiracy theorist, and anyone with any alternative perspective, isn't worth listening to, because now we've got a surrogate parent, and a surrogate parent can be your master, and those people that support their master are the disciples, and they're going to fight for their master. So anyone that's coming with an alternative isn't worth listening to, and you're being offensive. Mm-hmm. 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 Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Exactly. Mm-hmm. 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 But yeah, I mean, what it says is that the word that's coming into my mind is to move away from the distractions, or not get caught up in the distractions, because they are all distractions as well. All the coronavirus. It doesn't matter what you're talking about. Football, your favorite football team, or your political party, or even your religion, really, is all a distraction, really, because it keeps you away from the reality of existence. Mm, yeah. Mm, 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 yeah. Yeah, I mean, what we're taught is that um, purity and good is fragile, and but bent evil is very dynamic and powerful. You know, people have this idea that somehow good is more powerful than evil. But if you, what we're taught as well, and what the macro has taught us is that if you take one bad seed and you put it amongst 100 good seeds, what happens to those 100 good seeds? And and that's how powerful evil is, really. But this is the thing, going back to what we're saying about um, distractions as well. And also, what I said at the beginning is that you have to understand what it means to be human. And you have to understand that we are all here with a purpose, with a goal to achieve. Now, the people that are focused on the goal are the elders in that story. Is that, you know, they're the ones that are calm. They're not getting caught up with the distractions, the coronavirus, the football team, the political parties, Brexit, and all that business. Yeah, they're not getting caught up with any of that. They're focused on the purpose, and the only way to do that really is through initiation. Initiation is the only way that you can be taught your path, taught how to achieve your path, and taught, given the tools to do that, to achieve it. Because it's fundamental to start from there, because, the only way to start is from where you are. And there's no good sort of really just jumping ahead. You have to start from, like I said, you have to start from where you are, and understand that as a person, as a being that has a purpose, and the purpose is to be pure. The purpose is to be like the divine, to be divine. So if you've given that great purpose, because I mean, so one of the things that I find interesting is, I used to, for example, I keep bringing up football for some reason today. I don't know. But one of the things I keep saying this to people is that I used to really be like interested in football, man. I used to be mad about football, man. You know, Arsenal was my team, and then suddenly I came into this knowledge and I dropped that. It just suddenly just sort of just went. I just lost interest. Because, and now I see why, because those sort of things, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, if you're still into this, that's okay. But for me personally, on my own personal journey, and talking about myself personally, because you can still be, supporting football and still be on a spiritual path. I'm not saying that the two is incompatible at all. It's not mine. But for me personally, I can see why I dropped that, because for me it was just a distraction, really. And then I began to sort of focus on the spiritual journey, on the spiritual path, and why I'm here. And like I say, emotions is very difficult to deal with. And the evil that is within you is difficult to contain, and it's a constant struggle. Like I said, we've been with the Earth Center for about 6 years now. Time flies. Yeah, yes, almost 7 years. So, and in all the times, it's always been a struggle to contain that evil and that. But then, if you understand that you're here on the path, but you're also being tested, and it's part of the test. Because another thing that I say is that, why are we here? Are we here to sit on a beach and not do anything? Just chill, drink cocktails? That doesn't sound even remotely reasonable. You're just going to be put on Earth to just chill on a beach. No, we're here to work, and we're here to work on ourselves. And as much as you hate the system, as much as you hate politics and the political system and what they're doing and this evil, destructive path, and they are, but they're actually fulfilling a purpose. They're doing a job. They're doing their job. They're doing a job. They're here. I mean, they're not. Yeah, you have to think about who is the real boss, or who are the real bosses. It's the divine world. And they're letting them get away with it. And the reason why they are is because they're fulfilling a purpose. They're used to help us grow. And that's what you need to understand. Mm. 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 Yeah. Yes. That's the good point. Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, because this notion of freedom is an illusion. There's really no such thing as freedom. I mean, even if you look at ants, look at how ants carry on. They've got a specific job to do, but they do it together, and they do it with discipline. Look at any of those creatures and watch how they operate together, how they work together. They haven't got freedom to just do whatever. They're not going off and doing whatever. No, they're working together. And one of the things, yeah, exactly, to build the community, exactly. And one of the biggest tricks that's been played on this is this idea of freedom, that somehow you're free to do whatever. And it's one of the things that the Greeks introduced when they were taught in Kemet. this idea that somehow you can then you don't need the discipline. You can go off and do this and all these and whatever. And there was no discipline there. But that's just a trick. That's not even remotely the reality of existence. Because even the divine world, even the gods themselves, aren't free to do whatever they want to do. Even they have a duty. So look at us, and we're just human, we're nothing. So who are we to think that somehow we can just be free to do whatever, we can do this, we can do that, we don't need to, adhere to any laws, divine laws I'm talking about. We don't have to adhere to any of that. We can just do whatever we want. We're free to do whatever we want, and this is what freedom's about, and we can do all sort of nastiness and madness, Yeah. hmm hmm Yes. Exactly. Mhm. Yeah. hmm hmm Yeah. The another aspect of that is that um, the spiritual path is a difficult one. It's not easy, and we as humans, we naturally like what is easy. We like what is sweet, what tastes good. We don't want to have to have the discipline to eat something that's bitter. We want something that tastes sweet. So again, that takes discipline, because otherwise, if you keep taking that sweet stuff, guess what? You get diabetes. But then you have to have discipline and put that cake away. That yeah, yeah, that's it. Don't buy it. Yeah, you have to slap your own hand and stop yourself from buying. All that is discipline, and all that is a path to purity, as opposed to a path that is evil, really. Because the path of taking that sweet stuff is a path of destruction. It's evil. Yeah, go on. Yeah, yeah, mm, yeah, yeah. Which is evil. Yeah, mm, that's it. That's it. Because and and going back to why we're here, this is what you're here. You're here to work. Simple as that. You're here to work on yourself, and that's part of the work. Resisting that sweet stuff, resisting that dairy stuff. You're taking too much dairy stuff. Me, I love dairy, but I can't love it too much. So that takes discipline. So the idea of being able to do what you want whenever you want and all that is going back to it's just not real. Yeah, Yeah. Hmm. Yeah. Hmm. Hmm. Yeah. It all goes back to that. I mean, we're never moving away from the question of emotion when we're talking like this. It's always emotion behind it all, you know. And the opposite of that is the reasoning and logic. You know, logic should say if you take too much of this, it's not going to be good for you. And you may know that, but now you have to fix up within yourself. You know, you have to control the emotion. Yeah. Yeah. Hmm. Hmm. Yeah. Every level. Yeah. At every level. Yeah. It doesn't matter what you're talking about. You're all talking about um, not allowing the evil or the evil to ride your emotions, which is what it's doing. You know, take that sweet stuff. Now the evil's riding your emotions. Think negative thoughts and then pursue those negative thoughts. I mean, the interesting thing about emotion is that emotion is so powerful that sometimes you don't even know you're being led by your emotions. Yeah. Hmm. Yes. Yeah. And that's why it's so dangerous. Hmm. That's it. Hmm. Then what? Exactly. Yeah. Then you're left to deal with the aftermath of whatever of whatever you've allowed. Yeah, whatever, And the thing is, who hasn't been there as well? So, yeah. Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Hmm. Yes. Yeah. Hmm. 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 Yeah. Hmm. Hmm. Yes, exactly. Yeah, which is why we then become so passionate about the country. I mean, this is why country will fight country. That's been created by a system that's deliberately trying to um, manipulate it. But you don't know the history of your country necessarily, um, and you become so emotionally attached to that country that you'll even go and kill someone because that person's from a different country when really those dividing lines were created by a system. Yeah. Mhm. You know, you know what this reminded me. One of the things that Macro said, and I like to make sure that he gets the credit for these things because I like it. You know, it's so good, and you know, he needs to. People need to know where it came from. But one of the things he says, it's quite simple, but it's really profound, is that people say all we need is love. All we need is love. Love. All we need is let's just love each other. Mankind. Love your neighbor. Love thy neighbor. All we need is love. But then the Macro made a good point. He said, well, define love. You have to define love. Because people kill in the name of love of their country. They kill in the name of love of their religion. Define love. What does love mean? You're using a term but with no definition. And it's really profound. But then that's coming from someone that's a thinker. That's thinking. That's not being led by the emotion. It's only when you step back that you allow your spirit to think and operate properly. You know? But as long as you're caught up in the distractions, in the coronavirus and all the Brexit and all the other nonsense. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, okay. I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah, I know. Keanu Reeves, isn't that? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm. Yeah. Mm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm. Yeah. And then what you then do is make excuses for yourself. In a situation like that, you say, "Oh well, this is the reason why this." But all the time is you. you mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Right. Mm. Yeah. 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 Ben, yeah, Ben never gives up. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But the thing is with Ben as well. Remember we said that Ben or evil is very dynamic, and now you just mentioned it doesn't give up. Also, is when we say dynamic, we mean dynamic because it will pick on something that's very close to you or close to your heart and work on that and then get you that way if you can, or try to get that. Yeah, yeah, this is fake. Mm, 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 yeah, mm, and mm, mm, yeah. Hmm. Yeah, this is why initiation is so important because, as I said before, it gives you the tools that you need in order to combat that. If we humble ourselves and speak to those wisdom keepers in America, Africa, for those people that don't know, um, they can provide the wisdom, the tools needed, necessary in order to negotiate this very difficult path that we're on, which is what the Earth Center is about, you know. Um, mhm. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah. I mean, one of the things that we get, because my name is Kenemen, um, and speaking with the sister Katapa, these names are names that are given to us not through emotion. The names that were not given to us by someone that said, "Oh, that sounds like a nice name. That sounds like a pretty name," or my great grandmother was called that by that name, so let's call this person this name. No, these names that we have was given to us by the earth itself, because and those names tell us or keep reminding us, and it also sends out the energy throughout the universe, throughout the cosmos, that tells the universe what our paths are and tells us what our paths are, what we're here for, because the names mean something. So, so Kenemen means to be at one with um, the the deity Imin, the god Imin. Um, yeah, him. Yeah, he's one of the most powerful deities of the first Trinity in the Kemetic tradition. Hmm. Yeah. Hmm. But we don't. Again, that's with through ignorance and being told to just have faith and belief. Most people don't investigate that and find out the origin of things and the origin of these things, and they just don't know. But if you yeah, if you allow yourself to use your brain and think, then you can find these things out. Yeah. Yes. Mm-hmm. 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 Yeah. And people, again, going back to my favorite subject, the pyramids, and um, but people will say, well, how do they produce that? And people are saying, well, it can't be humans that done that because it's too technically profound, too technically precise, and how do they how could these so-called primitives, the meant to be primitives of those times, produce such magnificent things? Well, they were obviously using more than 10%. In other words, we've dumbed down. Mm, mm, yeah. Mm, 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 yeah. Mm. I mean, like you say, I mean, even with healing, as yourself as a healer, there's more than the physical aspect of a human being, and there's all sorts of reasons. I mean, not many people realize that there's certain foods that you might be, that ancestrally, that that might be against you, that you shouldn't be eating, that your family line has a taboo, and certain taboos and certain um, foods that they shouldn't eat, certain colors that they shouldn't wear, and this can cause illness. This can set you on a self-destructive path. But that's not physical, and that's not going to be taught in your sort of average medical school. Mm, yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, that's what the macro said as well. Also, he said that you need to come to initiation. You need to do initiation, and for the first time, you'll be doing something for yourself, and not for a system that's trying to exploit you. That's just using you as a slave. Hmm. Yeah, 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 exactly. it's true. Hmm. Exactly. Hmm. Exactly. Yeah, because if you look at the history of Christianity, it's full of bloodshed. Let's be real here. You know. Yeah. Yeah. That's it. Exactly. Exactly. And you're making a rational decision, not an emotional decision, because what you're doing is you're just simply just looking at the evidence that's there. That's it. You're looking at the reality because the reality is saying one thing and they're saying something else. They're saying we're Christian, this is all we're all about love, and but then their history does not say love. Mm, mm, yeah, yeah, you know, mm, yeah. You're welcome. Um, I would say now is the time to return to your ancestral ways, your ancestral tradition. Now is your time to go back now, because you can see all the destruction and the madness going on in the world, and it seems like it's a constant cycle of craziness. And at some point, you have to stop and think, well, hang on, maybe this isn't working. Maybe we need to try something new. Maybe we need to go back to what worked when we were great, because we were great thousands of years ago before the white man came along and we adopted their system. Now we've adopted their system. Look at us now. Look at the black race now. And it's not so much, and exactly, maybe, yeah, I was just gonna say, when I say black, I'm talking about a culture and not so much the skin complexion. I'm talking about the culture itself. So when I say return, and when I say return to your ancestors, return to your ancestral ways and your tradition. I mean, returning to um, that powerful tradition that brought us out, that gave us our purpose and our destiny, as opposed to a system that is leading us into more and more darkness and more foolishness. So yeah, that's what I was saying basically. Yeah. Meaning, mm, okay, Mimi, here.
love Prophet Nipna Bala Musa Marutana Big, the doggone prince. Mahir, the truth teller. Listen up, which means I'll be appreciated after I'm gone. He's the man who overcomes the devils with love. He's the man who speaks because he has something to say. The man of wisdom, the definition of humanity. Mahir, Mahir, Mahir. Far away, from far away, far away, from far away. From far away, Prophet Naba. Far away, Musa. Far away, in the big. Far away, from far away, Prophet Naba. Far away, from far away, from far away, Prophet. Far away. He's the man of wisdom. He's the man who lives by faith, and not by fear. His greatest wealth is the richness of his soul. He's the man who lives by faith and not by fear. He's the double-edged sword. He's the double-edged sword. He's the key to unlock their treachery. Follow truth and you shall find him. He's the definition of humanity. He's the beginning and the end. He's the prophet Naba. Far away, from far away, far away, from far away, from far away, prophet Naba. Far away, Musa. Far away, in the big. Far away, prophet. Far away, prophet Naba. Far away, from far away, from far away, prophet. Far away. Bob Marley say, emancipate yourself from mental slavery. None but ourselves can free our mind.